I'm Chris Berman. Well, let's get straight to the action. In our first game this week, we had the Packers stroll away with a 14-point win. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Chargers pick up their third win of the season. The Browns won this contest, but will stay at the third place in the AFC North. The Redskins drop yet another game and are really struggling on and off the field. We had an interesting free agency pickup of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris. Let's switch gears and talk about players that'll have new homes in the National Football League, as free agency continues to play such a huge role in determining a team's makeup. Wade is going to find himself with a new club, and he'll be in a new tax bracket, too. 6 years, $5.4 million.
Willis McGahee rushed for 2 touchdowns and helped his Falcons beat the Panthers. Seahawks, Vikings. Randy Moss is ready at the 31-yard line. Play gets underway, close coverage. Oh, now with a beautiful move, gets open, and it's a 6 spot. The Vikings go on to win this by the final score of 37-35. In the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, we had the Eagles come away with a 7-point win. Down in Texas Stadium, we had the Cowboys lose by 6 points. The Jets got 300-plus yards from their offense in their victory at Tempe, Arizona. The Chiefs won on the road and will now head home to meet the Chargers. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris, thanks. Unfortunately, we did have some big injuries this week, but before we get to those, we're going to run down the rest of the NFL. Gary Brackett sticks out on this list as one of the more costly injuries. He's suffering from symptoms of a concussion, and he'll be out for the rest of the regular season. There's a chance, however, they'll get him back for the playoffs. Now, on to even bigger news, as you may have already heard. Andre Johnson will miss the remainder of the year, and this is a big blow to this passing game because he was obviously a main target. Now the big story of the day. This guy will be on the sidelines for a while, and that is not good news for his club. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
Dolphins, 49ers. Tim Rattay calling signals at the 9-yard line. Crowd into it now. Rolls right. And look at this toss across his body between defenders. Picture perfect 6. The 49ers win this one by the final score of 17-14. The Rams won this contest and will now move to first place in the NFC West. In a long-standing NFC rivalry, we had the Saints pick up their 6th win of the year. The Colts win yet again this week and keep their impressive streak alive. Cross had over 50 yards receiving and helped his Titans beat the Lions. And in our final game, we had the Ravens come away victorious. So let's change things up a bit and turn to a guy that's had his eye on the college game, and that's our own Mel Kiper Jr. He joins us now. Mel, your work never ends, I know. Believe me, I know better than anybody else. But it's never too early to start thinking about next year's draft, is it?
Never too early indeed. And now that, for the most part, the regular season in college football is behind us, we can really start looking back at the guys that have impressed me the most across college campuses this year. Ward is a guy, for starters, that I think truly has very few negatives in his game right now. 6'3", 325, out of Georgia Tech. And this is a guy that's very agile out there and has great leg drive. But what intrigues me is his versatility. I really feel he can play any position on the line, though he's without question best suited to play guard at the next level. Moody is another player that's starting to shoot up my preliminary draft board. He possesses both the size to clog the middle and the athleticism for a big man to be able to jump the gap and get off the ball quickly. So that'll do it for now, but you can guarantee that the big board is going to see a lot of risers and fallers between now and April.
So that'll just about do it. But before we go, I'm going to toss out a few game balls to my prime-time players. Each and every one of these men had a week to remember. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.